Hey, it's Mike with Velocity Tech Solutions again for another edition of the Tech Corner. We've been getting a lot of requests for the redundant power supplies for the 1800s. Problem is that they're getting a lot harder to find these days, and there's a nice viable solution that's a lot cheaper if you come over here to the PC, and that's a non-redundant power supply. These are a lot easier to find these days, a lot cheaper, and they're fairly simple to swap in. All you're going to need is the non-redundant power supply, 2 machine screws to mount it in the back, and a Phillips screwdriver. So we're going to go ahead and start with that. We're going to start by removing the redundant power supplies. There's black tabs on the back that you're going to pinch and pull down, and these just slide right out. Set them off to the side. Now we're going to take the front bezel off the case. It's just a slide. These just fold down. You can set that off to the side. And I like to work with it on its side. Use your preference. Just tip it down. Undo your case mounts. Slide off your case. First thing, once you're in here, you're going to want to remove the fan shroud. Any cables that you may have from expansion cards or whatever, go ahead and remove those from the side of the shroud. And there's going to be 2 mounting clips here towards the front. You're going to want to push down on these while lifting straight up. But don't go too far, because there's still a wire connected for the fan to the system board. You're going to pinch in on that and lift straight up. You can set that off to the side too. Now that we're in here, we're going to start removing our power connectors from the board. I like to start with the pin on the back plane here. Just pinch. Might need to wiggle. Pull back. I'm going to fish that through. You're going to unclip these 2 plastic harnesses here. We're going to go down to the system board now, and you're going to have 3 connectors down here. You're going to have a ribbon cable, your main power, and the secondary power. These all pinch as well and lift straight up. And the ribbon one can be kind of a pain. You have to wiggle a little bit and lift straight up. You can fish that out of here now. And this part's a little bit more tricky here because we gotta move the CD drive. So you've got 2 screws that hold this in place. Then you're going to remove the power connector for it and the IDE cable. These are both down here. And you can remove it or just leave it loose. Either way, user preference. And then the one that's really tricky is the one down inside here for the floppy drive. This one's always kind of fun to get out. It's pretty much just a straight pull back affair, but you might have to wiggle a little bit. It's always tricky. That one's out. And now we actually have to remove the power distribution board from the old redundance. There's going to be a Phillips thumb screw here. Loosen that up. It won't come out all the way. And then this board, it lifts up back a little bit. Kind of got to fish it out and then lift straight up. And there's your power distribution board. So we're not going to need that anymore. Now we're going to take our non-redundant. I like to grab all the wires, kind of bundle them up. So you can stick them straight through. Kind of just fish it through with one hand on the other side. Just slide it into place. You can leave the wires they use for now. And here we're going to use those 2 screws from the beginning. Come down and mount it to the case. Now the installation is pretty much the same as the removal of the redundant unit. So we're going to take our big amount of wires here, push them through, attach. You'll notice that we don't have the ribbon cable anymore, so that makes it a little bit easier. Attach your power connectors to the board. Put these down. Take your backplane connector, fish that back through. Connect it. And then depending on your setup, you may not need some of these cables, but you have plenty of space to stash them now. So first we're going to start with that nasty floppy drive cable. This one is fun. It's down in there. We're going to connect our 4-pin to our CD drive, as well as our IDE cable. And it probably helps to put the IDE in first. Go ahead and remount our CD drive. Find my screwdriver. That's all there is to it.